Let's continue on the topic of calibers for ammo apocalypse. As you watched my first video, I hope, and if you didn't, there's going to be a link up here in the top right corner. Several calibers I mentioned. 40 caliber, 7.62 by 39 as the intermediate caliber replacement for 5.56, and 22. Today I'm going to go into a slightly different territory. As you can imagine, I brought different firearms. One of the more important parts is to have a gun, from my point of view, that can be multi-caliber and also allow you to keep your cases in case you want to reload. Hence, one of the viewers mentioned revolvers. They don't eject spent cases, so you can use them and you can actually keep your shells. And this is an example of a multi-caliber revolver. Not multi-caliber in the common sense, but multi-caliber in a more developed case situation. As an example, again, everything you see on the screen is snap caps. This is a Browning new Buckmark. Right. And if you believe me, I have some oceanfront property in Ohio for you to buy. This is Ruger Blackhawk multi-caliber new model Blackhawk. It is originally in 357 Magnum. However, this is a 9mm and 357 and 38 special model. What that means is it came with two different options as far as the cylinder. 357 and 38 special, 9mm. You can use either. I have some very unusual snap caps for 38 special, and you can install either of those into this revolver, hence allowing you to have options. You cannot use them at the same time. You have to have different cylinders for different calibers. 9mm will not go into a 357, neither will a 357 or 38 special into a 9mm cylinder. But you still can install whichever model you need to install. Again, I'm not the best at this, to be honest with you, not by far. But it is not that hard. It is actually harder to do on the video than it is in real situation. You do have to line them up, and you have to make sure they really line up. And sometimes I'm not successful at this. Anyway, that is not the point of the video. I'll fix this later. It's hard to do it while watching the video. But that is one option that I wanted to mention, to be able to have a multi-caliber gun that is easy to change. It is easier to change calibers on a revolver, and it doesn't lose any shells. Also, 357, 38 special are somewhat viable calibers today. They have not been that hard to find. Their prices haven't changed quite as much. So that's point number one. Next point is the 40 Smith & Wesson and the benefits and the negative parts about it. Again, snap caps. The negatives, recoil, slightly reduced capacity. The positive, higher penetration. Negatives, smaller choice of ammunition when it was available. Right now it's actually a larger choice of ammunition. Negatives, really not suitable for people with weak arms or hands. Really not suitable for them. Or requires more training, more exercise. Positives, it is actually cheaper than currently available 9mm. Negatives, that's about it. Positives, 40 Smith & Wesson can also be used theoretically. I don't own any 10mm, but from what I heard, you can use 40 Smith & Wesson in 10mm guns. Which means if you own a 10mm firearm, such as a 220 or let's say Glock 40 MOS, the new Glock 40, not 40 Smith & Wesson, but Model 40, you can theoretically use 40 Smith & Wesson in it. That's about that. Let's go into the caliber for the intermediate type carbines. Because really, these are not assault rifles. There is no such thing as an assault rifle. That's actually available to us after 1986, unless you want to go into NFA, and then it just becomes an automatic rifle. Assault is a function, action, not a type. Assault hammer is more likely than an assault gun. Assault knife and assault fist are considerably more likely. Anyway, 7.62x39 pluses. Cheaper and somewhat possible to find today. You have a variety of guns, from ARs to AKs to SKSs to improved AKs such as Galil's, expensive as heck. You can have a VZ58 if you can find it. Some other guns exist in this caliber. You can even find bolt guns in 7.62x39. Negatives. Ammo weighs more, takes more space, hence you can carry less of it. There is bigger recoil for people that are used to 5.56 versus 7.62x39. It's not really compatible with suppressors or cans, except very few models that are made for modern situations. Ballistics is very different for 7.62x39 versus 5.56. Overpenetration in home defense situations. Ability to go through low-level armor or lower-level armor at 7.62x39 is almost negative unless you have armor-piercing ammo. 5.56, 55 grain has some abilities. Go through steel and so what? Some areas. Louder, bigger flash, that's not as much of an issue. Benefits. Heavier bullet, almost twice as heavy, almost 2.5 times as heavy as the 5.56 one. 123 and up. There's even a subsonic 196 grain type ammo. Magazines. All kinds of magazines are available for AK platform, and most of them are extremely reliable and inexpensive. Negatives. If you're not familiar with an AK platform, you might need extra training. It is different. Positives. There's plenty of optics specifically made for 7.62x39, and the AK market has a lot of third-party accessories. Gazillion of them. It is probably the second most popular type of rifle in the US. Negatives? They're just expensive as an AR right now, or sometimes more if you look at the high quality AKs. I might make a video of my AKs one day. I do own quite a few of them. I'm not going to mention the number. And from different manufacturers, different calibers. But they are sometimes expensive, leading up to past $2,000 for premium or, let's say, Galil Ace. This thing, when I bought it, and by the way, this is still a legal brace. This thing was $500. This is the original Zastava PAP M92. As you can imagine, hasn't been shot much, hasn't been upgraded much yet either. It is in the process, but it is still a fairly nice boom maker, boom and flash maker in this configuration. No muzzle device yet, all in the plans. Availability, 7.62x39 magazines everywhere for inexpensive amount of money, and they're unlikely to disappear. Negatives, most of the 7.62x39 ammo is made outside of US. So if that supply is cut off, this becomes slightly less viable. Positives, they're coming from the countries that know what AK is and what this caliber is. Plus, you don't have to buy an AK, you can literally buy an SKS, and that becomes a very simple, very effective firearm for survival or for just plain fun. I have an SKS, Yugo 1, I think. Don't shoot that much, I have better guns, but still. Positives? Plenty for this caliber. You can get to have a lot of fun. Negatives, distance. 5.56, 500 yards, fairly easy. 7.62x39, you have to learn ballistics of the ammunition you use after 300 yards, and honestly, the quality of the ammunition of 7.62x39 on par is going to be lower than 5.56, unless they're coming from the same place. And in my case, they are. I own a lot of Wolf 23556 and Wolf 7.62x39. They're coming from the same Barnaul factory in Russia. Positives. Plenty of Magpul mags, MOE and M3. All kinds of manufacturers make magazines for this, and easy to get them under $10 each. And they're going to be very, very functional. So that's about it. I did not mention 22 LR because really there are no pluses or minuses to it. It is what it is. The only other item I want to mention is 5.45x39, which is a Russian alternative to 5.56. 7.62x39. Excuse me. 7.62x39 alternative was M14 in 7.62x51, not M16. People that compare 7.62x39 AKM or AK type guns to M16 or M4 are incorrect. That is not their opposite. Their opposite is AK-74 in 5.45x39. That ammunition is somewhat inexpensive in comparison and has many of the advantages of 5.56. However, the guns in that caliber are less available, and the ammunition itself, choice of it is very limited, especially now. But I want to mention that if you have that, then that might be the caliber for you, because that is basically 5.56 equivalent. That's all for now. Thank you for watching. So, revolvers, multi-caliber revolvers, 40 and 10mm, 7.62x39 and maybe 5.45x39 are the calibers that could be options for your ammo-apocalypse days until we get the situation resolved in this country. 22, of course, as well. You can still buy that ammo fairly inexpensive. Just look at what the prices are and don't waste your money. So keep practicing to be practical, and we'll talk in the next video. If you have any comments, please write them below and subscribe, click like, and that's all, folks.